worldwide exclusive for something that I just felt was the right thing for us to diversify into. And when we ran this technical analysis past Ron, your CEO, and David, your CTO, they just couldn't ignore the data. And the more we dug into this data and how they were creating it and verified what they were doing, the more excited we became. So let's dive through these slides. So we're not going to teach you a lot. We're not going to share a lot with you yet because we have a very specific release date for all of this information. So this is just a bit of a glimpse for you. It obviously from this slide is in the Forex world. If you are not familiar with Forex, Forex is an abbreviation for foreign exchange. It's the largest, most liquid financial market in the world. It's the money market. And $5.3 trillion daily moves through the, imagine paying off the US national debt in a week with money moving through Forex. It's just truly massive. So let's keep going. All right, so this is where what these guys do really starts to distinguish themselves from almost anybody else. There's about 78 million people, ranging from those that are just hobbyists that dabble in Forex, all the way through to professionals working for themselves in the Forex game. That's an awful lot of people, almost 80 million people. Let's dive through some of these statistics. Perfect. All right, now what's remarkable about this statistic, though, when you look at the retail side, it looks like or reads like something that maybe like Gamblers Anonymous group would talk about, because you've got millions and millions of people involved spending millions of dollars on trying to develop and improve their skills with something called technical analysis, but they're in this constant state of reaction. Now, if you're listening to this and you do a little bit of trading, this is probably going to resonate for you because they're reacting to what the market does. And 80 to 90% of them consistently lose. And in fact, I was even talking to some of my friends that are involved in Forex and have been for many years, and they're always putting money into their Forex, their trading account, just like you would just be feeding a slot machine. It's very, very interesting to me. So this last point, reactive to the market, when we compare this to institutional traders, they actually are the market. So we're talking about the differences. We're talking about world banks, national banks, large financial institutions, governments, global corporations. For example, you think of companies like GMC or Ford, and the amount of outsourcing that they do, the hundreds of millions and even billions of dollars of products that they buy to assemble cars that come from other countries. All of that has to run through the Forex market. It's absolutely immense. And so there's very, very few of these big players when you compare it to 77 million recreational participants, but there's so much money there that they actually represent almost 95% of the volume versus 5% of the volume. So one's the elephant, one's the flea on the elephant's back was the analogy that Troy shared with me. And when you're the flea on the elephant's back, you're barely conscious that there's an elephant. And so you're trying to guess which direction the elephant's going to go, and it's very difficult to do from that perspective. Next slide. And so it really took something extraordinarily unique to pique our interests. And then as we dug in deeper to verify the data, well, it was very obvious to us that we needed to do whatever possible to secure a global exclusive to be able to bring this to all of you. So this is a team of professional traders, but they also have consultants and advisors that have been institutionally trading for decades. And it's the advisors and consultants that are key here. Some of these advisors, for example, manage hedge funds with $300 million in them. And it's a very, very tight group of individuals that are all close friends that use this particular method of trading and are in correspondence one with another. They meet from time to time. And we're very, very pleased to have as business partners one arm of this group of traders and consultants. So they're not using robots. They are trading live, and therefore they adapt in an instant to market conditions. They don't use, we talked about technical analysis. They don't believe in it. So if you are a trader, this may be a bit of a curveball to you. They do one thing only, and they do it extremely well, and they work very, very hard for more than 20 years to learn how to do this. And that is, they watch for very subtle indicators as to when the big money is going to enter and the big money is going to leave the market, and they piggyback. That's all they do. So they don't have lines all over their charts trying to guess or where things are going to go. When they develop these skills, and it's a very small group of individuals that do it well, they know when the market's going to move. It almost feels like cheating sometimes to watch them work. What they do use is very, very tight money management strategies. And so you can tell instantly that they're professionals because they're extremely consistent in the way they manage things, but the results that they get from that consistency, and this is to support Ron's comment earlier about consistency and how we don't pay ourselves first in that very, very first slide today. Well, these guys do all those things right, and they do them with sort of a military precision because that's the way they learn, and that's the way you make huge dollars. And when you think about it, if you're responsible for hundreds of millions of dollars of other people's money, that would be expected of you anyway. So very, very good risk to reward ratios. This is key. In fact, you'll start learning lots about their risk to reward ratios. You'll start learning very quickly, for example, with some of their risk to reward ratios, they only need to have a greater than a 34% win rate for all of us to be making money. And they'll show you exactly how they do that. It's quite fascinating. And then, of course, years and years of experience. I think we got one more. Yeah, okay, so here's ultimately putting their money where their mouth is. Now, this is real data. So this isn't a hypothetical, or this isn't sort of a system run. This is real data from the last 90 days. I think, Ron, we've got August, September, and October. So take a look at these numbers. So they were real human beings with money with them that made this 84% increase in the last 90 days, so the last 3 months. And by the way, if you compound this, they are actually well over 100%. Because the way their system operates is you will be receiving your gains into your primary account on a daily basis. So when you trade with them, and they'll guide you through this entire process in North America, the US, and Canada, we will be doing something very similar to what we're doing with advanced trading. Troy's with me in Asia, and he spent hours upon hours upon hours in small spaces with these guys talking techniques and strategies, and wanting to make sure that there was not only the support that they offer, but the direct conduit from Unifii to them that you'll be able to hear from on a daily basis. And so, in fact, we made a handshake agreement that he was not going to sit in my lap during the call. So you'll be able to hear his voice, but you won't be able to see his face. So Troy, why don't you take just a couple of minutes and I don't know, let us know what. I'll tell you this one thing. Now, you guys all know, if you've been in the Telegram groups, or maybe you don't know, but Troy, he sort of sharpened his teeth in retail in Forex, and he's been in the Forex game as a very enthusiastic student to begin with, almost 15 years ago?
Yes.
15 years ago. So you're like 9 years old when you started.
Yeah.
That's cool. I asked him to rate his he had a first full day of training. I think he was gone for 10 hours or something. Mm-hmm. And I asked him to rate his first day on a scale from 1 to 10. 1 being you weren't really impressed. You didn't really see anything you haven't heard before. 10 being this is going to be world changing for you. And he came back and he rated it as a
11. Yeah.
11. So he didn't understand what I was asking him. He rated it 11. But I took that as a very, very good thing. So anyway, please go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I was doing the happy dance for sure. For the last 15 years, I've been studying, taking courses into Forex, and lo and behold, realized that I was one of those retail traders that was, going from feast to famine and learning the techniques and, looking for that magic indicator that would finally, put my account over the top. And unfortunately, they never show up. And then I come here and I learn how the big boys trade. And it kind of blew my mind. I had to literally empty my cup of knowledge and let it fill up again with the proper techniques. So I was very appreciative of what they were showing, and humbled would be the word. And I'm like, you guys have no idea what's coming. Like, this is so incredible. It's mind blowing. Yeah, it's this results here is going to be small compared to what I'm seeing the potential for, just because I've seen behind the back curtain of what they're really planning. This is just the beginning. So, yeah.
Ron, is there anything you want to share? Because I know you've since we flew all the way over here and spent a month with these guys and were able to verify that they were legit. Then, of course, I know that you've gotten on and you've put a lot of energy in with them as well. So maybe you want to share some thoughts as well.
Yeah, the first thing that came to me as well was, obviously I was very skeptical, just like anyone else. That you want to take a good look at what's really going on. And then I had the opportunity to have some conversations and actually do a little bit of training myself. So I had an opportunity to kind of see what was going on. And I too needed to look at it slightly different. And obviously, as the CEO of the company, owner of the company, I certainly wouldn't introduce something to this company that would harm it or its members in any which way or form. But I actually literally turned to my wife and said, "This feels like we're cheating. It's almost feels wrong." Like that is how I felt. It was kind of crazy. The other thing that I liked about it as well is, we're going to obviously give significantly more information on a couple more slides. I'm going to tell you when we're going to be actually sharing more information on this. What I really liked about it is there's different types of folks out there, and the different types of folks are the ones that like to trade, are traders and have the time to do so. So we're going to be able to provide them a platform that allows them to have access to this very special information as long as you're a member of Unifii. Also, there's going to be a group of people that are maybe on the call here, that don't want to do the trading, but would like someone to do that on their behalf. And so we've had to go through a lot of different ways in which we could come up with a legitimate legal way of providing this service for people. And so we are going to have two different methods. And for some, you're going to be able to take advantage of it. For others, you're not going to be able to take advantage of it. But we are going to be able to provide it for every single person. So what this is going to do, I think, which makes me excited, is it's going to now allow us to attract the professional and the non-professional individual out there that wants to make money in the Forex business. I'm not going to say guarantee. I'm going to tell you that based on what I see and what I've seen and how I've analyzed this thing, and they've got some private training to review what I thought I had learned, people are going to be coming in hordes. And the reality is this, folks. John already said it, but I need to reiterate it. It's because of who Unifii is. It's about the leadership on the company, John and myself and David and Troy. The people that are part of this company is the only reason why we've been able to be given the keys to this. We otherwise would not be able to get the keys to this. And the only real reason that they're allowing us to do this is because we know we can bring tens and tens and tens of thousands of people that are going to want to get their hands on this. Otherwise, this is the kind of organization like the wealthy elite. To gain access to something like this, it's private, it's hush-hush, and you require $500,000 to $1 million to get involved. That's the reality. When I lived in Scottsdale, Arizona, which is a fairly wealthy place in America, I had some very interesting friends. And let me tell you something. If you didn't have $1 million, they wouldn't even look at you. And that's how the wealthy get wealthy, and that's maybe how the others on the outside looking in miss out. And that's what Unifii is about. And that's what these guys are about. They want to make sure that we're providing information for people all around the world that can help them succeed. That's what we're all about. And that's what's key about this. So Monday night, we're going to be having a call. We're going to have that call on Monday, November the 12th, 2018. And we're going to go through an entire presentation explaining what it is, how it works, all the gory details. about that. And it's important because you really want to know more and more, and you yourselves will understand why we're so excited about what's coming down the line. At 3 p.m. New York time for the afternoon folks, that's noon Pacific time. 8 p.m. London time is the same as 3 p.m. time, again, for our folks in Europe. 9 p.m. New York time, which is the time that we're doing for this presentation on Monday, November the 12th. Those same calls are actually Tuesday, November the 13th for our folks in Sydney at 7 a.m. and 1 p.m., as well as 10 a.m. Hong Kong time as well. We're just starting to barely scratch the surface, and the interest that is starting to come our way is quite overwhelming, I want to almost say, almost overwhelming. So we're pretty darn excited about what we're doing here. Again, we're going to release all the details about this once-in-a-lifetime product. We're going to also make sure that I would suggest to you, make sure that all your active and non-active members on your teams are on this call. Prospects are welcome. We're just going to be talking to you, but they're going to be listening in and getting to know who I am, who John is, and David and Troy, so that they have a better feel of who we are as human beings as well. And so I think it's important for them to be on the call, and I can assure you they're going to be buzzing afterwards. I think that what's important is for those of you that are already active, meaning you've paid for your subscription, or you already have an active subscription that, you know, the renewal is not necessary yet. You're going to want to make sure you secure that spot and stay there. For those people that maybe a couple of months ago, they decided that maybe what we were offering wasn't for them, they're going to want to get their positions replenished, because they could potentially lose that position. So someone that may have been here a couple of months ago, perhaps they got distracted by some other opportunities. When they come back and they had a team of people underneath them, that team could be gone. So you're going to want to get that message out to them to make sure that they stay active in the month of November. Pay for 1 month or whatever the case may be. Now, on that call on Monday, I'm also going to be sharing a very special offer that we're going to be making on this call. And that's going to be for our active members. That's all of you folks. Non-active members, I'm assuming I don't think there's non-active members on the call here, as well as new members that decided to get started in the month of November. We're going to offer you something that's going to make things quite appealing.